just in the nick of time. We were looking in, 4 cities to find Damien, because it was, and that was nothing what Mark was very generous with me about, because Damien was so clear to me in my head. And when I finally saw Daniel, I was like, yeah, this is the guy.
Hey, get out of here!
Oh my God, Danny DeVito, I love your work!
To have somebody who's kind of supposedly too gay to function, is one of the quotes in the movie, yet doesn't kind of like fall into like a stereotypical portrayal of that, and kind of find that sense of humor. It was very difficult to find that balance. Until Danny walked in and kind of made us all laugh with the part, we didn't know who was going to do that part.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it raw.
Lizzie and Daniel are hilarious together right from the beginning. I think I was there one of the first nights that they met, and Daniel was being really funny and kind of talking, and Lizzie just was like, dude, back off, I just met you. And was like shutting him down, and like that kind of fighting but kind of loving each other is, I think, exactly what that friendship should be.
This is what
All
happens.
right, follow me. Come on.
What you want to do is,
Come on, you know how to do it.
I'm trying to explain it to the people. So why don't you just let me explain it to the people? It's like my soul was taken out of my body and split in two. And I got half, and Daniel got half.
One of the first things they told me on the phone when they told me I got the role was, you are gonna love the girl that's playing Lizzie. Like, they're like, you guys are gonna click like nobody's business.
He's the light that burns within me.
Bravo, Mark.
It's hard to like speak to a guy when you don't know him and you're new to a school. It's always nerve-wracking. You're always kind of like iffy. It's like, well, are they gonna say yes or are they gonna say no? And Jonathan's great to work with. We have fun working with each other.
And when I was showing the tapes of all the people auditioning for Aaron, I showed them to my wife and I showed them to my young assistant, and Jonathan came on, they all sat up in their seats and like, oh yeah, he works. Oh yeah, he works. And I thought, okay, well, that's a good sign.
Aaron, this dreamy Aaron.
Bravo, Mark.
He's inherently very sweet, Jonathan. I think he's like a kind of gentle. He actually, and he reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Fallon. And I think that's why I was like, yeah, that guy, get that guy.
What are you doing?
I forgot what a good kisser you are.
Aren't you like here with
It's kind of like when he walks through the hallway, the whole school turns into an Abercrombie ad. That's his life. And you know what's funny is that Jonathan Bennett, who plays that character, it's the same way. It's like, we'll be walking down the street, it'll be raining outside, his shirt will fall off, all these guys around him will be like all hot, and like they'll be like surfing and like throwing footballs. It's weird, like out of nowhere.
He's that every boy that is that first boy that you see that you think you're gonna just faint when you see him. You literally lose your mind. You cannot function, you cannot maintain your friendships. You lose your mind in pursuit of a boy. And that's on Jonathan's shoulders to convey that on screen.
There's no Barry?
And we filled out the cast with this amazing kind of like group of ex-SNL people, including Tina and Amy Poehler, who are current SNL people, but Anna Gasteyer and Tim Meadows and Neil Flynn from Scrubs. So it kind of gives it these kind of comedy veterans playing against this young, talented group.
I think I was really attracted to the idea of the Saturday Night Live skill set without sort of all of the burden and onus of the pre-existing character that a lot of people associate with Saturday Night Live movies.
It's funny, it's kind of been like we kind of have these separate camps, because I know a lot of the, myself and Neil Flynn, who plays Katie's dad, and Tim Meadows and Anna Gasteyer and Tina. We've all worked together in different capacities. So it's been a really nice kind of reunion. And so sometimes we feel a little bit like the chaperones at the dance a little bit. Like we're like, has everyone checked in on the kids? Is everybody okay? Like we feel a little old.
These ladies are very young to be playing moms. They're much too young to be playing these moms, but they're bringing the comedy that the characters need.
I completely disagree with you.
Amy.
At the thigh slap.
Amy Poehler is going to play Mrs. George. She's going to play Regina's mother, and she was one person that I really did have in mind when I was writing, and I thought, oh, she's way too young. They're never going to let her do this because she's so young and beautiful, and she's playing this this trashy mom, but I'm so happy that they're letting her do it.
I'd like to point out that these are, and feel free to zero, and these are not mine, although I'm sure many people assume they are, but they are not mine. The wardrobe department, along with Industrial Light and Magic, have created a beautiful, beautiful display. But These are nothing but padding and the hopes and dreams of, of millions, yeah.
Tim also I kind of had in mind for the beginning because I had known Tim. We were at the show, overlapped at the same time.
Mr. Duvall, who doesn't have a first name, I don't know. Mr. Duvall, he's handsome, he has an underlying sexiness that comes across pretty much throughout the movie. But, we're trying to work on keeping that, sort of, because we want a PG rating or something like that.
Now, what we're gonna try to do is fix the way you young ladies relate to each other, okay? Lady to lady.
Hopefully this movie will take, I think there's a lot of movies that have the hot popular girls who are mean, but I'm hoping that we will get to know them more fully in this movie.
I really think the characters in this film can really teach you a lot of things about life, especially that you can never wear too much lip gloss.
Okay, that hurt. If you were to get breast implants, make sure that they're sensitive enough. Try to maintain some nipple sensitivity, so if your dog is chewing on them, you might notice.
You don't have to listen to those mean girls. They're just there to make you upset and make you feel bad about yourself. And really, inside, they feel bad about themselves too. They don't want to admit it to anybody.
If you have ever been picked on by a girl, ever, then you will really appreciate this movie. Because these girls are ruthless, and there's all different kinds of mean girls. There's pretty mean girls, there's ugly mean girls.
You're a bitch!
There's bitter mean girls, there's gay guy mean girls, there's a bunch of different mean girls, and you will feel the wrath of all of them when you watch this movie and laugh about it.
It's just great to hear stories about how you feel and, what you kind of go through. And it's just great to have that sort of like, oh, yes, I feel that way. Yes, and I feel that way, and I know that girl, and I know that girl, and I know that guy. And it's just something you can relate to, and it's really fun at the same time.
It's really not another teen movie. It's not a regular teen movie because it's smarter, because Tina Fey wrote it and she's into the random comedy.
I'm from Michigan.
Great. The message of Mean Girls is basically just be yourself and don't get caught up in certain things and don't change for anyone and be around people that you can trust and that won't hurt you in any way.
Sometimes when you're going through anything, you feel like you're the only one. And I think that if you're being bullied around by some kid in your high school, some mean girl, and then you go and you see this movie, you'll probably be like, oh, it's funny, and life is art, and this is kind of very similar to true life. I think that those people would definitely be inspired a little bit and learn to laugh about some of it.
It's sort of a hopeful tale. I didn't want it to come out of it feeling like women are awful to each other always, forever, their whole life, and that's just the way it is. I think women can learn how to be around each other and how to feel good about themselves without building themselves up at the expense of tearing other people down.